An online friend, a friend who I've known for a long time, who also happens to be an adamant Trump supporter, every once in a while likes to text me on Facebook, likes to send me a message, trying to convince me to vote for Trump, trying to give me the rundown of his reasons, and explain to me why I should support Trump. But you need to understand, dude, this is video is dedicated to you. As far as I'm concerned, the feelings I have about Donald Trump can best be summed up by Tim Minchin.
Fuck the motherfucker, fuck the motherfucker, fuck the motherfucker, he's a fucking motherfucker. Fuck the motherfucker, fuck the motherfucker, fuck the motherfucker, he's a total motherfucker.
The only way that song could be better is if it was called Fuck the Daughter Fucker. Honestly, I can't stand Donald Trump. And I'm going to even not talk about the quasi-sexist, quasi-racist shit he's done. I mean, let's talk about his fucking video, the big one that everybody gave him a shit over because of the quasi-racism. But I'm not going to address that. Here, play.
And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
My problem with this video is that, one, he seems to act as if the illegal immigrants coming across our southern border are mainly Mexican. They're not. They're coming from Nicaragua. They're coming from Guatemala. They're coming from Central American countries that are currently involved with violence involving the cartels, drug smuggling, shit like that. Which means they're coming all the way through fucking Mexico to get to the United States. Do you honestly believe that a fucking wall is going to stop them when they get there? Seriously? I hate to tell you, but if you go through the fucking entire Mexico, the goddamn mountains, the goddamn desert, all that shit just to get here, I don't think a wall is going to worry you too much at that point. I don't think they're going to be that disturbed. I think they would have figured out ways around shit like that by the time they get here. My other problem with the video is when he says, when Mexico sends them, they're not sending their best. As if Mexico is actually sending fuckers across the border. When he was asked about it, he had a chance to walk it back. Well, Cuba did it in the 60s. That's his fucking verification. That's his reasoning. Someone else did it a long time ago, therefore it must be done right now. And then when he calls out on it again, well, I spoke to people on the Border Patrol, and they say it's true. So this is your verification, Donnie? Some dudes told me it's true, therefore it is? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you that goddamn lazy, that intellectually fucking sluggish that you just see someone say, listen to what someone jackass tells you? And yes, he is that intellectually sluggish. Look at when he retweeted the fucking white supremacist propaganda, and his response was, well, what do you want me to do? Verify every tweet that I send out? Yes! Yes, I fucking want you to verify every tweet you send out. Why? Because I want my president to know what the fuck is going on, and I do not want the president to be based upon the idea of some dude told me so when it comes to his fucking fact-checking. It's the same thing as when the fucking towers fell in New York. Some people in New Jersey, some Muslims, were standing on their roofs cheering as the buildings fell. I know because some people tweeted it to me. And are you saying they're liars? Yes! People on the internet lie, Donald. I know this is going to be a fucking shock, but just hearing some people on the internet say something is true is not enough reason for you to go acting as if it fucking was. You're a goddamn moron if you just fucking go by the word of morons online. And Donald does just go by the words of people online, so guess what that says about him? I mean, Donald Trump has based a huge portion of his campaign on this issue, yet he doesn't understand the most basic, elemental aspects of the fucking issue. He doesn't know where the immigrants are coming from. He doesn't know why they're coming. And he doesn't know they're not even being, he thinks they're being fucking sent. The truth is they're being chased by cartels. He doesn't understand the most I mean, I know this guy's a fucking wrestling fan. I'm beginning to think this is one huge promo, and the fucking people of this country are just being duped by the goddamn stupid heel. There's also the old saying that you can judge a man based upon the company he keeps. And let's take a look at some of the company that Donald Trump has decided to surround himself with. Sarah Palin, famous for being one of the dumbest cunts in the history of politics.
He who warned the British that they weren't going to be taking away our arms by ringing those bells and making sure as he's riding his horse through town to send those warning shots and bells that we were going to be secure and we were going to be free.
As far as stupidity is challenged by one of Donald Trump's other new supporters, a Seventh-day Adventist who actually believes the pyramids of Egypt were built by Joseph to store grain.
My own personal theory is that Joseph built the pyramids in order to store grain. Now, all the archaeologists think that they were made for the pharaoh's graves, but, you know, it would have to be something awfully big when you stop and think about it. And I don't think it would just disappear over the course of time to store that much grain. And when you look at the way the pyramids are made, with many chambers that are hermetically sealed, they would have to be that way for a reason. Some people believe in the Bible, like I do, and don't find that to be silly at all, and believe that God created the earth and don't find that to be silly at all. The secular progressives try to ridicule it anytime it comes up, and they're welcome to do that.
He had a lawyer who once defended accusations against Trump that he may have raped one of his wives by saying it's not possible for a husband to rape his wife because there's plenty of case law on the subject. I mean, that's his fucking defense, and he got belligerent and angry and violent with the reporters when they asked about it. And then on top of all that, on top of the fucking shit Sunday of people who Donald Trump has surrounded himself and taken with as advisors, he's even brought in the embarrassment as an evangelical advisor. I do not even speak this cunt's name. I can't stand her that bad.
As of today, the United States is willingly, knowingly, intentionally sending arms to terrorists. Now, what this says to me, as I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, as I look at the end time scripture, this says to me that the leaf is on the fig tree. And we are to understand the signs of the times, which is your ministry. We are to understand where we are in God's end-time history. This isn't to cause us fear. This is to cause us, I believe, as believers in Jesus Christ, to grow up and mature in our faith and embrace. The prophets said they long to look to this time. The prophets long to look into the future to see these days of his coming and herald his coming. And we're privileged to live in them.
But also understand, there is no God-given conceivable way for me to even consider voting for Donald Trump. You know, it has a little bit of an error. There are some problems with the test, in my opinion. But I do feel that political compasses tends to be fairly reliable. As far as positioning me, it always comes around the same part. And this is where I am. Graft against Donald Trump. So as you can see, me and him are miles apart. And as much as I fucking hate Hillary, she's at least closer. She's more in line with what I believe. So I'll probably support her if chosen between the two. To be honest, though, I'm probably leaning towards Jill Stein more than anything at this point. But something else you may notice as you look at this graph here, let me put this one in here too. Donald Trump is a bit close to some other leaders of the past. You know, I showed this to the same friend, and he said it was stupid, he said it was retarded. And I've also noticed that a lot from Trump supporters. Something else I've noticed a lot from Trump supporters is their response to criticism, analysis, different perspectives is, that's retarded, that's stupid, that's moronic, that's idiotic, that's fucking stupid. And at no point do they even bother explaining why or how I am wrong. They just assert that what I said is stupid. Now, some of the stuff that I thought I said was stupid, I looked into further, and here's another political compass. Trump and some other leaders throughout history craft right here. Looking close, it's not really very comforting to see where Donald Trump stands on this graph compared to certain other noteworthy figures. And I, of course, started out explaining to my friend how, it's obvious hyperbole. And the irony is, the more as I was explaining that it was hyperbole, the least I was convinced it was. I mean, for fuck's sake. Hitler and Trump, both cool with killing civilians in wartime. Both pro-torture, even if it doesn't do any fucking good. Donald Trump has said it. He's pro-torture, even if it doesn't work. Then why the fuck do you want to do it? Just to piss people off? Just to rile up Middle Easterners? I've have friends who are in military intelligence, and they say that is the absolute worst thing you can do when you're trying to settle shit down, is to start fucking torturing people. You're better off just killing and slaughtering motherfuckers, because that'll that'll intimidate them quicker. But torture actually pisses people off and makes them want to fucking rise up against you. Something else Hitler was famous for was his handling of the press. And now it's apparently in Donald Trump rallies, a lot of press who is critical of him are outright banned. And those that haven't pissed him off enough yet are all secluded into a tiny little cage, the press pen. And they're not allowed to get out. And they're not allowed to shoot the crowd. They're not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. At this point, Donald Trump isn't trying to provide press coverage for his events. He's trying to mandate the press in a certain direction that he believes makes him look more positive. That's another Hitler thing. That's just a step towards disturbing propaganda, I must say. And of course, Trump also likes to scapegoat America's problems on minorities with little to no power. He's done that right here. He's done that over and over again. At this point, I'm not saying Trump is anywhere near this. I honestly see him more in lines of wanting to emulate the Singaporean government and creating more of a benevolent dictatorship, I believe is the term that they like to throw around, where they just control the press, fuck everyone over, but make it look and appear as if everything's going fucking peachy. And of course, with who you keep around you, it also has to be asked, who do you keep away? Look at the number of fucking look at the fucking news outlets that Trump has banned. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the National fucking Review has been banned from Trump events. The most conservative rag in the fucking country is not allowed at Trump events because they make him look bad. They cover him poorly. Maybe because he's a fucking idiot. Then as far as who he keeps around him, look at the fucking Trump University. Plenty of the professors, plenty of the teachers were outright convicted of fraud. Now, of course, Trump didn't pick them specifically, even though he said in his goddamn letters and advertisements that, yes, he handpicked every single one of them. Now, he also told the students that, you'd get to meet Trump, you'd get your picture taken with him. And no, you got your picture taken with a fucking cardboard cutout. I mean, Trump University is an obvious fucking scam, just like it appears this presidential campaign is now. Have you looked at how much of the Trump campaign donations have gone towards spending at Trump facilities? It's almost as if it's a whole scam just to channel campaign funds to fucking Donald Trump. Outright and straightforward. I mean, it's goddamn ridiculous to almost at this point consider him a legitimate contender for president. It's apparent that he gives no flying fucks about anything other than putting money in his own pocket, as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of people will look at the idea that he's a successful businessman. Really? I seem to recall a book, I think it was 10 years ago, someone published it, estimating Trump's value somewhere between 150 and 125, like $250 million. Compare that to what his fucking dad inherited, and it makes him look like an utter fucking failure. And even if he were a successful businessman, that doesn't really mean jack shit. I mean, government is not a business. It does not, running businesses successfully doesn't really mean anything as far as your ability to run government successfully, because, well, especially if you're a conservative. Do you know why? What is the goal of every fucking successful businessman? Increase revenue. Increase the size of your business. Increase your influence. Make yourself better, bigger, stronger. What is the fucking goal of any conservative politician? Decrease revenue. Decrease the size of government. Make yourself less influential. Make yourself smaller. That is direct opposition to everything that a fucking businessman is. This is why it never fucking works out when you get a conservative businessman as a fucking conservative politician. It never works out. It always runs the state afoul. It always has. It always will. George Bush, Dick Cheney are a perfect example of that. They deregulated. Government fucking had an anemic growth when it was doing well, relatively speaking, and it ended in collapse. When Ronald Reagan was president, running the fucking country and having, well, he ran the country and had fucking success, his business buddies telling him what to do. What happened? Anemic growth, followed by collapse in the banking and savings and loan industry. What happened at the end of Bush? Collapse in the banking industry. Are you seeing a little bit of similarities what happens with Republicans deregulating financial industries? It's not what always happens. I may not be a CPA, but you don't have to have an accountant degree in order to know how fucked up Donald Trump's bookkeeping is. For instance, I forget the exact number, but it was something like he has a 74-story building, but Donald Trump has it on his books as a 90-story building, and his excuse is, well, the ceilings are unusually high, and it's as high as a normal 90-foot building. So fucking what? Do you have 90 floors to rent out? No, fuck you. It's not a 90-story building. It only matters what you have room to rent out, to give out, to distribute. That's the only thing that fucking matters. I'm guessing you probably didn't decrease the value of each floor when you booked it, did you either, you stupid cunt? No, you're probably booking it as if it's a 90-story building with elevated ceilings across the line. So you're claiming fucking space you don't fucking own. And when he tells you how much he's worth, he also doesn't include debt. Net worth is supposed to be assets minus debt. He gets rid of the whole debt shit and says, I'm worth whatever my overblown assets are. One of his golf courses, it was professionally graded at like $1.2 million, but he lists it to the public as if it were worth $50 million. I mean, for fuck's sake, the guy has, not only is he wrong, not only is he dishonest, he has no decency in his bookkeeping. I mean, I'm a fucking accountant. I've fucking got a degree. I don't think that's necessary when I explain to you what he's doing, that's necessary to fucking understand the dishonesty, the utter rank, disgusting level of blatant lying. If he was a publicly traded corporation using these tactics, he would be in prison. I'm not fucking shitting you. He has violated pretty much any SEC rule that exists. And so much of his glory, so much of his legitimacy as a candidate comes down to his success. And all that success is just lies. Made up, utter fucking bullshit. I'm not fucking kidding this time. I am fucking serious. Donald Trump is garbage. He's a piece of shit. This video's long enough, so I'll let Tim mention. He kicked me off. I'll let him finish me off too.
You are just as morally misguided as that motherfucking power-hungry, self-aggrandized bigot in the stupid fucking hat.